Welcome back to A Slice of News. I'm your host, Mr. Slice, and every day I cut you off a new slice of news. So, in his infinite wisdom and very obvious attempt to distract the populace from his Epstein files, our great and illustrious leader has decided that Chicago is the new target to send his National Guard troops to quell the unbelievably large amount of crime that exists only in his imagination. I think at this point it's very clear that this has absolutely nothing to do with public service or protecting the people from the crime, and everything to do with simultaneously showing that he is a strong man, that he can send his armed thugs wherever he feels like, because that's what big, strong dictators do. And of course, it is to just get people's minds and attention off the Epstein files, to get the news cycle off the Epstein files. But it's clear at this point that no matter what type of distractions he puts out there, there's no real distraction. We all have our eyes on the prize, so to speak, and we know that the pressure cannot be taken off even for a moment, and it's not. I mean, of course, in conservative circles, it's been off for some time because they all cow to their great and powerful leader. And if he says, stop talking about it, they only too gladly acquiesce to his will and talk about something else, anything but what is important, which is that their elected leader is a bad man who has done bad things, and it is documented that he has done these things, and he can't get away from them just by trying to say, look over there, the crime. It's nonsense, and it's especially nonsense because the people who actually live there are saying, what are you talking about? I think it's far too easy for him and people like him to paint Chicago as some sort of crime-laden hellhole, which reminiscent of a century before, where they had Al Capone and gangsters roaming the streets with guns. But that's not the reality that we live in, and to feel that he needs to send in armed troops to quell the crime, the rampant crime that's out of control, is so completely out of touch with the lived reality of the people who actually live there, who experience life in that city, and who can say unequivocally that they do not live in a place that requires armed troops to come in and save them from the crime. So I don't know who he thinks he's fooling. I suppose his ignorant base who don't know anything about life in these cities and only know what they're told. So if they're told they are crime-ridden dens of iniquity that need saving, and the only one who can save them is their great and powerful leader, of course they may have the wool pulled over their eyes. But anyone who has even a passing knowledge of the city knows that this is complete posturing, complete nonsense. So I guess we will see if it actually goes as he has done in Washington, D.C., where he has armed guardsmen, patrolling the areas like we live in some sort of totalitarian regime, which I suppose is what he wishes we did live in, with him at the top leader and his armed thugs out there with their weapons doing what the boss tells them to do. But that's not where we live. That's not what we are. I mean, if anything, that is the antithesis of our country, an antithesis of what we should want. We don't want to live in a place where soldiers with guns are wandering around looking for excuses to use them. That isn't what we should want. Anyone, regardless of what side of the political spectrum you fall on, none of us should want that, because that's not America. That's not our values. So the idea that not only that he is getting away with this and attempting to get away with it in yet another major city, but that these armed soldiers in the cities are getting so much support from people on his side that are saying, oh, this is him finally bringing law and order to the dirty liberal cities. And I just don't get it. I don't understand how a party and a people who are supposed to be about small government and not having the government push their authority over them by force is saying, oh yeah, it's fine when the government pushes its authority by force to the people I don't like. It seems just so disconnected that the people that are like, oh no, I don't want government coming in here and taking my guns and telling me what to do, is the same as saying I want the government to take their guns and enforce their rule over places, as long as it's not the place I'm in. I mean, I guess that's the key. It's always fine when it's happening over there to those people who I don't know enough about, I don't care about. That's one thing, but if it's happening to me, it's a different thing. So I guess maybe that's where we are seeing the disconnect, that as long as they're not coming into their city with their troops and their guns, it's all good to them. So I don't know where this is going to lead. I mean, some are saying that this entire thing is a distraction from Trump's incredibly bad health and that it's sort of a double distraction from the Epstein and the fact that he is deteriorating. And that much I don't know, but I also can't say that I can't see that being the case. Were it to come out in some future time that that's exactly what it was, it seems absolutely plausible that everything is like the kind of thing he would do. I just can't say for sure that that's something that he did do. But as a distraction from Epstein, absolutely, this is definitely has nothing to do with the stated purpose of quelling crime in the big bad liberal cities, and everything to do with getting Epstein off people's minds, off people's screens, out of the news cycle. But it's not going to work because people know that this is a distraction, and people know that they're not going to forget. They're not going to let go of this. So you can try whatever distraction tactics he feels like, but it will not have the effect that he wants to distract people. We're going to keep hammering him on this because he can't get away from it. And this is going to be the thing that undoes him, because he spent so long building the fervor of the Epstein files is going to reveal the truth about the evil people in government, not considering that he was one of those evil people in government and that the monster he created was eventually going to eat him. And I think before long, that's exactly what we're going to see. So that's the slice of news for today. So until next time, I'm your host, Mr. Slice, and I'll cut you off another slice of news.